All right. Hey guys. So welcome to chapter 7 of Launching a Leadership Revolution. Thank you guys for giving up your Sunday for the hour. I know for me it's Downton Abbey time, but I'm suffering through. I'm recording it. It's the last episode ever. If you haven't watched that show, it's so good. You need to Netflix it. Okay. Because that has totally everything to do with what we're learning tonight. Okay. Anyway. Second level of influence, which is performance. And first, when I saw that, I'm like, performance, okay, whatever. But as I started to read this chapter and think about these things, it really was encouraging. So I hope that this will encourage you tonight. So when your work speaks for itself, don't interrupt. And no, I didn't write that, but I forgot to put the guy's name who wrote it. So credit to whoever wrote it. Okay, here we go. All right, so the act of performing. Performers understand that results come through personal effort. The champions don't start out that way. So you know how sometimes when you have a golfer or a football player or whatever sport you can name, and you hear maybe the announcer or a coach say, he just came out of the blue and look at him, he's so good, or her. Well, we all know that they didn't come out of the blue. They've probably been practicing since they were 2 or 3 or 4, or they've been doing this their whole lives, right? Or at least for a few years before they've added the blue. Now, granted, I know there's these people that are just immensely born with something that they can do well. But typically, champions don't start out that way. And even if you're born with a gift, you have to train and nurture it in order to continue to grow in that gift. So just when you see these people maybe ranking really fast ahead of you, or you see other teams growing and you don't have those side blinders on to keep looking forward, just know that they didn't start out that way. They've had to grow. And sometimes teams like Jamie and I's team will grow really fast at the beginning, and then it'll stop for a while and go slow for a while. So everyone's journey is different. Nobody comes out of the blue. Know that there will be many opportunities to feel second best. So you can't really wear your heart on your sleeve in this type of business, because if you're judging yourself by other people and what they're doing, you'll always be second best, right? Personal growth closes this gap to make you maybe feel like you're not second best. So personal growth, as in doing these trainings, reading books, you have to be able to turn your feelings of inadequacy around, because if you don't, you'll get discouraged and you'll quit. Success seems to be connected with action. Successful people keep moving. They make mistakes, but they don't quit. And by the way, if you haven't seen Zootopia, I challenge all of you. Yes, it's a cartoon, and even if you don't have kids, you should go see it, or at least Redbox it when it comes out, because that to me is the whole tone in the movie is, even though you're small, you can still do what you want if you go for it and you try. And so same with our business. We make mistakes along the way, but we don't quit. We keep moving. Okay, performers understand that nothing worthwhile comes easy. So they kind of pose the question in the book, when success comes easy, is it really success? So if, for example, when Jamie and I started, we were signing people left and right, and we ranked up to senior Ruby very fast. So on one hand, you could say, was that really our success, or just that God blessed us and boom, he added these people to our team? We didn't really know how to be effective leaders, I think, at the very beginning. I'm not really speaking for you, Jamie, but for me especially. It was something that just happened. And so, yes, in our eyes, as far as Plexus goes, it was successful, right? But for me as a leader, it wasn't successful. Does that make sense? So it was kind of, it happened so fast that I didn't appreciate what I had. Success is always located on the other side of inconvenience. So those of you that are not seeing rapid growth at this point in your business, you've got to know that you have got to continue to put work into it. It's not just going to become easy. You may have months where you sign 10, 20 people in a month, in a week, and it seemed easy at the time. But we all know that this business is all like this roller coaster, right? You go up and you go down. You must have a maturity to work for things unseen and persistence when others quit. So when you have someone that's always negative or coming back and saying, just complaining after complaint after complaint, you have to be able to have persistence to keep going. You're always going to have complainers, but we have to have the maturity to see that unseen thing. So for me, that unseen thing right now is to rank to Sapphire, which I'm really hoping will be this month. But, I don't know that. I want to be Diamond. You guys all want to be Diamond. You want to be that next rank. And so technically right now that's unseen for you. But you know that if you keep doing what you're doing and you keep building your team, even if it happens in 1 year, 6 months, 2 months, 5 years, it'll still be worth it for the lives that you're changing as you go and as you rank up. Performers don't expect fair treatment. So obviously, kids will say that's not fair if you listen to kids play long enough. And then oftentimes you'll hear adults say, well, that wasn't very fair. Well, and then you hear the adults say back to the kids, what? Well, life's not fair. Get used to it. Obviously, in this business, there are things that are not fair. You will see someone that has ranked to Diamond in less than a year, and you're like, what? She doesn't do this, and she doesn't do this, and I do this and this. Well, yes, because life is not fair. And I truly believe God blesses each of us when He knows we're going to be responsible enough with those blessings. So why would He bless us, say, with just, for example, more money as we rank up, if He knows we're not maybe going to do what He wants with that money? So maybe He's preparing our hearts, showing us some things that He wants us to use that money on before He blesses us with it. And that's just an example. Obviously, there's many. So you've probably seen this poem called Anyway. People are unreasonable, illogical, and self-centered. Love them anyway. If you do good, people will accuse you of selfish, ulterior motives. Do good anyway. If you are successful, you will win false friends and true enemies. Succeed anyway. The good you do will be forgotten tomorrow. Do good anyway. Honesty and frankness make you vulnerable. Be honest and frank anyway. When you spend years what you spend years building may be destroyed overnight, but build anyway. People really need help, but may attack you if you help them. I'm sure you've probably had this happen with Plexus. Help people anyway. Give the world the best you have, and you'll get kicked in the teeth, but give the world the best you've got anyway. So this was a quote in the book, and I'm sure you've probably seen that on Facebook. But to me, that's, what we do. We just do good anyway, because that's what God wants us to do. So this was what went along with that anyways. Performers know there will always be critics. They are constant and must be ignored. It's not personal. If you take all your critics personal, it'll make you kind of crazy. I personally don't know how the people in Hollywood deal with maybe walking by the magazine rack and seeing themselves on these magazines, and probably 90% of what they say is not true. And it doesn't matter, if you're good in Hollywood, they want to destroy that in you, right? And then, so there's always going to be critics. With your Plexus business, there's always going to be people saying, well, what if it does this, or it doesn't do this, or I didn't do this? Always critics. And sometimes those critics come from your family, your parents, your sisters, your aunts, your uncles, your cousins. They can come from your family. And on one hand, you think your family should support you no matter what, but they don't always, do they? So I thought this quote was funny. I saw it on Facebook a while back. Even if you walk on water, haters will say you can't swim. So think about that for a minute. Even if you walk on water, haters will say you can't swim. There's always someone that's going to be out there that's going to want to tear you down. Always. So in the back of your mind, you just need to know this. You need to know that there's people out there that want to see you fail. And how sad that is, but it's true. So you can't let these people get to you, to get into your head and to get into your heart. It's not personal. It's not about you. Typically, what do we tell our kids? That person is hurting. Haters always hurt, or they don't know Jesus. Probably both. All right. Performers know they will always be strong adversaries. There will always be a rival, there's some healthy competition, and then there's not so healthy competition. So healthy competition would be maybe you in a downline or you in an upline, saying, we're going to do this together. Like, for example, my brother and who is an ambassador under my sister-in-law, Carrie, obviously. He had some healthy competition for a little bit with another ambassador that they're good friends with their husband. And they're like, ooh, who can get to silver the fastest, and it's just for fun. That would be the healthy competition. And then obviously we all know there's not so healthy competition. And I don't need to go into that because you know exactly what that is. But no matter what the form, greatness is always opposed. I mean, if you look at history, anytime there's greatness, there's always what? There's always the person that's opposing it. And it's funny, but when you read a book and there's always has to be that opposition out there. If you were reading a book and nothing bad happened, the character got up and did everything and got married, and then the end of the book, it would be kind of boring, would it not? I mean, there has to be some kind of climactic instruments or something that happens in that book to make it interesting. So, I almost feel like that's kind of our lives. We have these roller coaster rides, and there's always somebody or something that's going to oppose us. But we have to keep going. We have to know that these competitions are out there, and we have to know that we will be opposed at some point doing this Plexus. Even selling Plexus, you will be opposed at some point by someone that says, negative things about it, or, oh, I read this blog, surprising, that person on that blog's probably selling something else. So just be prepared and know that they're out there. Performers understand that breaks will come to those that prepare. Learn to prepare even when no feedback or applause comes your way. Success is the byproduct of all the hard work and good things you do along the way. So you're preparing, you're studying, you're doing things like this, you're reading books, you're training your team, you're preparing. You may not get applause for that. Big leaders aren't seeing you on this call, and they're not going to send you a message and say, I'm so proud of you all the time. Now, I think us in Plexus, I think we do a great job at recognition. But so many things we do behind the scenes, or I do at my house and you do at your house, to work for Plexus, no one ever sees, and no one's going to give you feedback on it. But we all know that hard work will pay off in the long run. So this is what, let's see, Hank Aaron said this: in playing ball and in life, a person occasionally gets the opportunity to do something great. When that time comes, only two things matter: being prepared to seize the moment and having the courage to take your best swing. So I read this today and I just thought, look how many opportunities we have to share something great. There are so many jobs we do just because it's a job. Now, I was a teacher and I felt like I had an opportunity to do something great or to share with these kids. And now you guys have an amazing opportunity to share products that are changing lives. Even if this person has better sleep and that's the only thing they get from Plexus, that is worth it, because not sleeping makes you crazy. Not sleeping causes all kinds of issues in your body. Not sleeping is huge. And if that's their only thing they get from Plexus, then to me, you've changed that person's life in a small way. So just keep that in mind, that we really have the opportunity to do something great and do it daily. Your attitude, not your aptitude, determine your altitude. Y'all, if y'all don't look at Zig Ziglar or read some of his quotes, read one every day. Go to one of the maybe Christian bookstores and get a Zig Ziglar like daily calendar. I don't even know if they still make those. His little sayings they really make you think. So I put this here because the next performance that they put in the book was, performers know that your attitude conquers circumstances. Being positive goes a long way. Your team is going to follow your lead. So if you're on your team page and someone posts, say, a negative something, I'm missing a shipment and I called customer service and I couldn't get through and I was on the phone for 2 hours, and this is on your Facebook group, then what I do when I see something like that is I delete it and then I go talk to them privately. Because when negative things like that, it's almost like a little brush fire. It starts off small, but it can spread to the whole team, just like a fire can spread to the whole forest if it's not contained. And even though that's a little something, it can spread so fast. And then you have someone else saying that was actually feeling really good about Plexus until they read that. And then they said, oh gosh, my shipment was a couple weeks late. And then they start putting it negative into their mind. So, and I love this picture too that goes along with this. That's not Hawaii, but I want to go there. I don't know where that is, but I want to find out and stay on a little cottage like that. Isn't that fabulous? So maybe when we're all diamonds, we can do that. Anyway, your attitude, not your aptitude, determines your altitude. You cannot tailor make your situation in life, but you can tailor make your attitudes to fit those situations. I tell my kids this all the time when they wake up in a, quote, bad mood. And I'm really talking to myself because I'm not a morning person. And when I wake up in the morning, somebody could say something and I'm just, my fangs come out. And so it's something that I say to myself constantly in the morning. And so I say it to my kids. And so it kind of helps me. And I'll say, oh, and it's always my daughter, of course. My son wakes up in a happy mood every day of his life. My daughter is just like me. I guess they learn what they see, right? So we talk to her in the morning, and I'm always, Maddie, you choose your situation. You choose your attitude. It's not your situation. You choose your attitude. Well, you woke up this way, you can choose to be happy. And so I almost think you should print something like this and stick it on your mirror. Something positive affirmation. You can see it's Zig Ziglar again. I love him. You can always have a positive attitude, even with negative things that are coming at you. Performers understand that desire trumps talent. So I had to think about that for a little bit whenever I read it today. But it's talking about, we're all born with strengths. We're all born with something that we do really well. And then there's obviously things that we don't do really well. And so I could be born with a talent, but if I have a strong desire to do something, for example, if you have a strong desire to share Plexus and rank up, if you're passionate enough, that can trump that talent that maybe, say you were born with, or maybe you're shy and you don't like to talk in front of big groups. I didn't like to talk in front of big groups. And so that was kind of one thing that was not my talent. But I'm passionate about Plexus, and I can talk on Facebook all day long about Plexus. I can put messages out, and I can talk to someone. I can do presentations like this. And I love my Plexus. But if I'm in public with a big group and I have to get up in front of someone live, that's not really my strength and my talent. So you're going to use your strengths, but never giving up, that raw desire trumps any talent that you may have. So the more passionate you are about Plexus, the better obviously you're going to do, even if some of the things aren't necessarily your number one strength. You must have a desire to change your status quo. We've talked about that before. This Mike guy said, hunger, not success, but excellent. I totally think I wrote that wrong. Anyway, here's what the other quote in the book was, or the Proverbs 139. For the waywardness of the simple will kill them, and the complacency of fools will destroy them. So complacency will pretty much kill your business. If you're complacent and you're happy with your $200 a month check, and that's where you're happy with, then you probably won't move up in this business. So you really have to be hungry. You have to have that desire, and you have to want to change your status quo. Performers know there is power in belief. Your brain is so powerful. I did a whole lesson with some of my team members on positive affirmations, and this should be something that you do daily. It's amazing what can creep into your brain. Just for example, I don't know, I'm not having a good day. Well, then immediately you need to change that to, you know what, I'm alive. Someone else is in the hospital. I am having a great day compared to them. You could make these things, put them on your mirror, on little sticky notes, put them on your mirror, put them in your closet. If you have a prayer closet, stick them there and say them daily. Put them on your car. Not so you're going to have a car accident, but somewhere you're going to see in your car, maybe while you're driving. Build your belief in the products of Plexus. If you're brand new to Plexus and you maybe don't have great belief, that's when you start watching Diamond documentaries. You start reading about the ingredients in these products. You start reading testimonies, and that builds your belief. You go to meetings, that builds your belief. When you go to meetings and you hear someone stand up there and say that they no longer have this or that, or they're sleeping, they have no allergies, that builds belief. And that belief can really take you far in this business. The reward of the hustle is not what you get, but who you become. I have watched so many people in this Plexus business who start out really shy, and I don't know, it's just, I love watching these transformations as my team members rank up to the next rank. And I just love seeing who they become, and they become more, I don't know, just happy. And do you guys not love those before and after pictures? When you see their before picture and then you see that after picture and see their face, I love that. They're always just happy. Whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. And I know you've seen this everywhere, but it's so true. And that's another thing I would print out and stick somewhere in your house. Performers work as part of a team. Obviously, we are a team. We are one Plexus. I help people that are not on my team. You will too as you grow, if you haven't already. You will, as you rank up, people will ask you to come and talk at opportunity meetings, and you won't even be on their team, but you'll go because that's what we do. We're part of a team. Edifying the organizational's leadership. We never talk bad about our leadership, about our court people up at corporation. Excuse me. We always want to talk good about them to other people. We have to build that belief in our team. And if we're talking bad or we say something negative about corp, then that looks bad on us, and we're not helping the organization's leadership. Do we only love the company when it's perfect? Do we quit because of mistakes? Or do we stand behind them in hard times? So through all this with our back office changeover, I know that it's been hard on a lot of people. And my question then to you is, do you only love Plexus when it runs just perfectly smooth? Do you only love your husband when he cooks dinner and does the dishes and he closes the cabinet doors? No, you love them all the time, even when they're not perfect, right? So everyone makes mistakes. And I think obviously Plexus has learned that this company that we hired didn't do what they asked. They weren't able to do what they said they were going to do. But Plexus has poured in a ton of money to fix it, and I think before long we'll be running smoothly. And so I have great belief in this company. So say you're new and you don't necessarily have this great belief, then believe in your leaders. Believe in Jamie or myself or Melissa or your upline, Carrie, whoever. I can't see who all is on the call right now, but believe in them. And they will help you believe in the company until you have that belief for yourself. Those of us that have been in it over a year are tried and true. We have never been late, say on a paycheck. They've never been late on a paycheck. They have never been late paying us. They have never cheated us out of anything that they said they were going to do, ever. We stand behind the company 100%. And I know that they have our best interests at heart. I just know that. If you are ever in Arizona, and you get to go tour the facility and talk to the people, do it. That will build belief. Go look at the warehouse. Look where they're shipping these things out. Talk to them. It's amazing. And it's just this whole system, we don't know anything about until you go. Performers promote learning. So you announce, you explain, and then you're going to promote it. So we announced that we're going to do this. We explained what the leadership Zoom was about, and then we're going to promote it by making a graphic. So you do the same with your team. You promote learning by maybe putting a challenge up to read this and, put your comment down. Things like that with your team. Performers follow proven methods. Duplicate, duplicate, duplicate. There's something to be said for coming up with your own thing and reinventing the wheel. If you have time to come up with something new and it works for you, then share it with us. But as the new people are coming, do what we've done that works until you can come up with your own something. And then we would love to hear it, because trust me, if we know that there are much different ways and better ways and other ways to do things. But until then, duplicate what your leaders are doing, what the proven methods are. Performers build on their strengths. I would encourage you to decide. There's a Strength Finder book, Strength Finder 2.0, I think is what it's called. I'm not sure the author, but I'm sure you can Google it. Read this book. It's real short. And find out what your strengths are. And then use that for your Plexus business. I mean, I know people say you should go and work on your things that you're not strong in, but really building your strengths and focusing on what you're good at and what God blessed you with, that's going to take you a lot further than just trying to always look at what you're bad at and try and improve in that respect, if that makes sense. All right, and all these last go with performers. Initiate activities, push to grow and improve, give their best, focus, should be on priorities, and they get results. And my last quote comes from Yoda, because Yoda knows all, right? He says, "No, try not. Do or do not. There is no try." I'm sure you've heard him say that. I'm sure someone could do a better Yoda impression. I won't try, but to me, that's kind of how Plexus is. There's no try. Let's do it. You guys are on this call. You made the decision to take, 30, 40 minutes out of your Sunday evening, missing Downton Abbey or Walking Dead or whatever it is you like to watch on Sunday nights. You're taking your time out to build your team, and that is amazing. So thank you guys. That's all I've got. If you guys have questions, I'm here.
I just want to add I'll unmute everybody in a minute. I just want to add to Kim's thing when she was talking about us flying by and how this is about not getting discouraged. Many of you know our story, but we flew to Senior Ruby in 6 months and then kind of stayed there for 7 months, and it was very easy to get discouraged. And although we still went Emerald just after a year, we've been Emerald for over a year now, and it's been so nice in a way. I know that it could easily be frustrating. with all the back office and all the other stuff going on and not promoting like we want to. But I think Kim can agree too that just this time of really learning to be leaders has really helped, because we want you guys to be equipped, not to just gain the masses and grow your teams like wildfire, because we didn't know how to lead. And I think that it's so important that you guys are on here each week, just because you are going to be equipped to lead your teams and make the better choices and all of that. So those are my 2 cents. I'm going to stop the recording. Thank you, Kim.
You're welcome.